Well, thanks a lot. It's absolutely fantastic to be here and especially to be among such remarkable colleagues doing remarkable work. My name is Jim McCorkle, and I am the founder and CEO of Admission Possible, an organization that helps low-income students get into college and graduate from college. And part of the reason that I founded this organization about 10 years ago is that I'm actually a first-generation college graduate myself. I grew up in a low-income family. My folks didn't finish high school, let alone get to college. And so I saw firsthand the difficulties they could have in their life, and I experienced firsthand the difficulty of trying to get to college. And so that was some of what motivated me to want to start this organization. And so over 10 years, we have grown to the point where we now serve 7,400 students in Minnesota and Wisconsin. And we have a vision statement that I thought I'd start with, which is that we envision a day when the future of America's children is determined solely by their talent, motivation, and effort. So what is the problem that Admission Possible is trying to solve? Simply put, it's that there is a huge gap in this country between who goes to college and who gets a degree and who doesn't. Specifically, 82% of students from the upper income quartile are earning a 4-year college degree by the age of 24. That compares to only 8% of students from the lowest income quartile. So in other words, upper income students are 10 times more likely to get a college degree than their low income peers. And we think that is truly outrageous. And so we set out to do something about that. There are about 200,000 kids in America who could benefit from our services, kids who could go to college and succeed if they could just get there, but they're not getting there. And this is an important problem because if you can help a low-income student get a college degree, you've essentially broken the cycle of poverty for that student and their family forever. And of course, in an increasingly globally competitive economy, we're going to need every well-trained worker we can get. So you can see that we have a big problem. It's an important problem. So part of the question is, what drives this problem? What is causing low-income students not to enroll in or graduate from college at the rates we would like? Ultimately, it comes down to the lack of a caring adult in their life. In middle-class families, this is usually the parent who helps guide them through the steps it takes to both enroll in college and to graduate in college. So how do you craft a solution to this problem? It turns out it's remarkably difficult to help low-income students get admitted to, enroll in, and graduate from a 4-year school. It requires an enormous amount of time on task. And so most other efforts either lack that level of intensity or are so expensive that you can't possibly scale them to meet the full demonstrated need in the country. So our key innovation actually came to me when I got out of graduate school at the Kennedy School of Government and got a chance to work at Citier with Michael Brown, who's going to be here later today, and Alan Casey, and I got a chance to work directly with them and see the power of national service to affect great social change. And so the idea occurred to me, what if you applied that power of national service to the issue of college access and success? And so we launched that, and it turns out to be a remarkably effective and efficient and low-cost way of doing this. So what we do is to recruit recent college graduates who serve as coaches to low-income students. And because they're close in age, they're able to develop a really tight relationship. And because the AmeriCorps members are essentially volunteers, paid virtually nothing, it actually allows you to provide the level of intense services needed to achieve outcomes at a very low cost. Our program costs about 1/7 what the most similar federally funded program costs, upward bound. And so it's a remarkably effective, efficient, and low-cost model. So how does it work? We have two main aspects to our program. We have a college access program, which is helping students to prepare to enroll in college and to enroll in college. And then we have a college success program, which is intended to help students persist in college and graduate. At the center of this is the AmeriCorps member. We call them coaches. You might sort of metaphorically think of them like middle-class parents. Those of you who might have sent off a kid to college, you know what it takes. It takes guiding your student through the whole process of how to prepare for the ACT or SAT exam, to apply to college, to navigate some of the obstacles that you might hit when you get to college. And so that's at the heart of our model. So what kind of results do we get? What is our direct impact? We pride ourselves as an organization on focusing like a laser beam on results. We measure a lot of things. I'm not going to go through everything on this slide, but a couple of the key metrics are that 98% of the students that have come through our program have earned admission to college. About 80% of the students who have enrolled in college have either graduated from college already or are persisting toward their degree. And I want to call your attention in particular to this Harvard study. This is a quasi-experimental evaluation that allowed us to take a look at what happens to our students compared to a very similar group of students who are similar in every regard except for they didn't get access to our programming. And that study found that students that go through our program are 140% more likely to enroll in a four-year college than those students who didn't get to go through the program. So in other words, more than doubling the chance of enrolling in college. So remarkable direct impact. Increasingly, we're trying to leverage that direct impact so that we can have larger systemic change. And there's a variety of ways that we are doing that you can see on this slide. I want to call your attention in particular to our social return on investment, which I suspect many people in this room are familiar with. But the idea of what is the return to society on an investment in one of our students? Well, because they earn about $1 million more over the course of their lifetime than they would if they had only graduated from high school, they're able to contribute much more to the tax base. And to a lesser degree, they're also less likely to be incarcerated or to need costly social services. And so the result of an independent analysis is that there's a 500% return on investment to our program. So what is our strategy for scaling? Well, given the fact that we have developed a model that gets results that are as good as any program in the country, combined with the fact that we're able to do it at a small fraction of the most similar program, 1/7 the cost of Upward Bound, it led us to say, this is an urgent problem and we must scale. And so we have worked with McKinsey & Company over a course of about 12 months to build a strategic plan for growth that allows us to get to 10 cities and serve 20,000 students. You can see in this chart a little bit where we began. Originally, in 2000, we worked with 35 students when we were operating out of a spare bedroom in my apartment, and we've grown today where we now work in 2 cities, in the Twin Cities and in Milwaukee, where we're reaching 7,400 students. You can see a little bit about the expansion metrics and some of the cities that we plan to explore. We can cover that in the question and answer if there's time. So I want to talk a little bit about the financial model. For us to launch in a new city costs about $2 million in total over the first 3 years. So our model is to build a growth fund of $10 million, where each $1 million increment will be used to seed a new site. So essentially it'll be used as a challenge grant within that city to leverage local support so that at the end of 3 years, we have a diverse base of funding, which allows the operation to be sustainable. So, in conclusion, we have developed a remarkable model. It's been recognized increasingly at a national level by Ashoka, by the National College Access Network, the National Association of College Admissions Counseling, and many others. And we have put together a strategic plan for growth that's very detailed. We can't go through it all here today. We have extremely strong financial management, a senior leadership team with an average of 17 years of experience. And so it has put us in a position where even the President of the United States has recognized our work in describing the most effective, innovative, low-cost operations in the country that ought to scale. The President said, Admission Possible operates in just 2 states now. So imagine if it was 10 or 20 or 50. Indeed, that's what we imagine. And with your help, both strategic help and financial help, we know that we could achieve our full potential. Thank you for your attention. I look forward to taking questions.